Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching this video, and thanks to Nikki Capp for these awesome Body Shop goodies that I'm going to show you how to use. So as you can see, I've got some remnants of eye makeup on my face, so I'm going to use the Camomile Sumptuous Cleansing Butter to melt all of these away. There's some waterproof mascara on there and bits of old makeup, bits of dirt and grime, so this is going to be perfect for just melting all of that away and leaving my skin nice and clean. That really is the key to your makeup looking good. If you ever have problems with your makeup caking or looking just a bit sort of patchy and uneven, and you just don't feel like you're ever getting that flawless finish with your makeup, the best thing you can do is look at your skincare routine and make sure that you are really cleansing your skin really well and exfoliating your skin on a regular basis, and that will give you a great canvas to work on in the first place. So I'm just melting this cleansing butter into my face, making sure it's getting in all the nooks and crannies, and making sure that I'm going over my eyes a few times just to really melt away that stubborn eye makeup that can be really tricky to get rid of, but this stuff is magic for just melting it away. And then I'm going to take some cotton pads and I'm just sweeping them over my face, removing the cleansing butter. It's really important that if you're using something like cotton pads that you use lots of them and not just use the same one over and over again, because all you're doing then is you're just pushing all the dirt and grime further into your skin. So I've probably used about 10 or 15 or something to do this. You could also definitely use something like a cotton face cloth or a muslin cloth, something like that. I am using cotton pads here just because they're what I had on hand, but a cotton face cloth would work perfectly, and it also helps to gently exfoliate your skin. So I'm just checking here that it's all gone. There's a little bit still on my chin, so I'm just going to go back over there again, just make sure that's all off. I'm now using a toner to remove the last traces of that cleanser. I'm using the Tea Tree Skin Clearing Mattifying Toner. My skin tends to be a little bit on the oily side, so this is perfect for me. You could use a toner that's more suited to your skin type if you prefer. I'm just sweeping it all over. I'll do this a few times just to make sure I've got every last trace of that cleansing butter removed. It is a little bit on the oily side when you're applying it to your skin at first, so you want to make sure you've got all of it off, and that will just leave your skin perfect for applying your makeup. Here we go. I think this is the last sweep that I'm doing here. You can see that my cheeks are going a little bit pink. That's just because of massaging the skin and then using the tonic. It brings all the blood to the surface. So don't worry, if you find that happens to you, just give yourself a few minutes and it will calm down. So I'm now applying a moisturiser. I'm just using a moisturiser that I already had. But if you wanted to use a Body Shop one, a great one to try would be the Vitamin C Glow Boosting Moisturiser. Vitamin C is a fantastic skincare ingredient and is really good for brightening dull complexions. Another thing that you could try would be the Tea Tree In Control Hydrator. That would work brilliantly with the toner that I've just used. If you, like me, have oily or combination skin, tea tree oil is fantastic. The tea tree oil range that the Body Shop do would be fantastic for your skin. And I don't apply an eye cream at this stage. I'm not really sure why, I think I just forgot, but you could try the Vitamin E eye cream by the Body Shop. That'd be fantastic. It's lightweight, so it'd be great under makeup. And I'm now applying one of the lip juicers. It's the coconut, passion fruit and carrot lip juicer. That's just to moisturise my lips whilst I'm doing the rest of my makeup, and I've chosen that one because it will go fantastically with the lipstick that I use later on. So I'm now going to start applying my foundation. I've gone for a really lightweight foundation. It's not a Body Shop one, it's one that I already had. But if you wanted to try a similar Body Shop foundation, you could go with the Fresh Nude BB cream or the all-in-one BB cream. This foundation that I'm using is very lightweight. You'll see as I'm applying it, it's really lightweight and sheer. So a BB cream would be a really similar alternative. Or if you want a little bit more coverage, you could try the Fresh Nude foundation. You'll get a bit more coverage, but it'll still be very lightweight and natural, like this is that I'm using. I'm also using my own foundation brush for applying this. Again, from the Body Shop, a similar brush, it's very similar, would be the buffing brush. It's a very soft and fluffy foundation brush. It's got rounded bristles and they're all really densely packed, so it's perfect for blending in foundation like I'm doing here. I'll just keep checking back in the mirror, having a look on either side to see how I feel about the coverage, and if I spot anywhere, once I've done that first application, if I spot anywhere that needs a bit more coverage, then I'll just dot a bit more foundation on and blend it in. And that's usually, for me, that's usually just under my eyes and over my cheeks. And then just to finish off, I'm adding a little bit of foundation onto my eyelids and I'll blend that in as well. And that'll give a great base for the eye makeup to cling to. So once I'm happy with that sort of first application, and I'm also just checking here that the skin on my face ties in with the skin on my neck and then also matches the skin on my hands. That's a great way to make sure that the shade you've chosen is a good match to your skin tone. I'm now going in with the Fresh Nude concealer and I'm using a separate applicator here because I plan to use this concealer in my kit, so I've removed the one that comes with the bottle so that I can use it on different people. So I'm using a disposable applicator here and I'm just tapping on the concealer under my eyes, only where I see some dark shadows poking through. So I'm not applying a huge triangle of colour under my eyes. I'm not going for a full-on dramatic application here. I'm literally just tapping it on where I see any discoloration. So that is just under my eyes. And then you notice I put some on the top of my eyelids as well. But it's very much in the inner corners. I'm not covering all of my eyes or eyelids here, just where I see that discoloration. And that's because the concealer shade that I've used is ever so slightly orangey. It's quite a warm concealer, and so it is cancelling out those blue shadows. So I'm only applying the concealer where I see those shadows and not all over that area. And that's going to give a really, really natural finish. Sometimes you'll see people that look almost like they've got a little mask on over their eyes because they've applied concealer all the way over. And sometimes that can work really well, but if you're going for a more natural application, then just tapping it on where you see the discoloration can work really, really well. And then using a small concealer blending brush to just buff it in. And you'll notice I'm using my ring fingers as well, just to blend out the edges and keep it all very natural looking. So now I'm going to use the Brow Sculpt 3-in-1 pen by the Body Shop. I remember at this stage I hadn't actually used this before, so I was just trying to figure out how to open the thing. Here we go. So I'm using the pen part of the Brow Sculpt and I'm just starting to go through my eyebrows with some very small and light strokes of the pen. All that I'm doing here is just trying to add a bit of definition to my eyebrows. My eyebrows are quite light, they're very almost blonde, and they're quite sparse. So they just need a little extra definition. I'm not doing anything too complicated here. I'm literally just following the shape of my eyebrow and using light strokes just to give a bit of extra definition. I'll keep checking back, looking in the mirror, comparing sort of side to side. Like, am I happy with how that's looking? Am I happy with the balance? And then move on and do the other side. And I'll keep checking, rather than focusing on any one area of my eyebrow for too long. I'll keep looking back and checking to make sure that I'm happy with how they're looking. And you'll notice I do this throughout the whole makeup look that I'm doing. I'll keep checking how everything's looking, the balance of everything. I find that's a really good way to build up a look and avoid doing too much makeup. So once I've used the pencil, or the pen rather, I'm then going to use the powder part of the brow sculpt. And I'm pretty much just doing exactly the same thing. I'm just using small feathery strokes. I'm going back through everything that I've done, just going over with the powder, and this will help set the original pen that I applied. I don't use the brow gel at this point. I'll maybe do another video where I do a bit more involved brow makeup. So I'm just using a clean mascara wand here. You could use like an old mascara wand and just wash it. You get the same effect. And I'm just using it to sort of brush through and soften up everything that I've just done and keep it all looking very natural. So I'm now using the eye colour stick in shade Siberian Quartz, which is a really lush kind of plummy purple colour with a bit of shimmer to it. And I'm just quite roughly applying it to my lash line. I'm working it in, trying to get as close to my eyelashes as possible so there's no bits of skin peeking through. And then I use an angled eye brush just to blend over and blend in everything. And then I'm just going to gradually build up the colour in this area and very gradually begin to wing it out. So this cream colour is going to give me a bit of a base that I'm then going to use some eyeshadows over the top of. But the cream colour is really good for beginning to get that sort of smoky effect because you can blend it in and move it around. It's ideal for creating a smoky look. But because I've got hooded eyes, cream eyeshadow can move around a little bit. So I'm using this as a base and then I'm going to use some eyeshadows over the top that will set the cream eyeshadow, and the combination of the two things will give a more sort of solid opaque colour. I'm just moving over to the other side, and again, like before, as I'm applying and then blending in and then applying again, I'm going to keep checking for balance, keep looking between one eye and the other and make sure that everything's quite even as I go. If you don't have hooded eyes, you could definitely use this cream colour just on its own, and you could probably even get away with applying it just with your fingers. It's a really lovely consistency. It's just the fact that I have hooded eyes that cream eye colour tends to move around and not like to stay put. So just winging it out there, and I'll blend it one more time. Make sure that I'm happy with the whole look. You'll see that this eye look that I'm doing, I'm building it up really gradually. Like I start doing this, I'm then going to go on and do some eyeliner and come back to the eyeshadow. So keep watching as it builds up. So I'm starting off with a colour that's really similar to the cream colour that I've just used. This eyeshadow is from a palette that I already had, but you can find something very similar in the Paint and Colour eyeshadow palette by The Body Shop. The two colours that I use, this one, and I'm going to use another brown colour in a second. There are two really similar colours on the top right hand row of the Paint and Colour eyeshadow palette, so you could recreate this look very easily. If you wanted to go for something that's a bit more natural, more sort of shades of brown rather than using colours, you could go for the Own Your Naturals eyeshadow palette and pick two shades that you like from that. So I'm still using the same brush, and I'm just applying that colour over the top of the cream colour that I've just used. I'm still building up that winged kind of a look. And then I'm going to take the darker brown, and I'm going to, again, still using the same brush, I'm going to concentrate on the outer corners of that wing and just give a bit of extra depth, darkness and definition to that wing. And I'm using the shape of that angled eyeshadow brush to really help with creating that winged look. It's definitely worth getting yourself some different shaped eyeshadow brushes for doing different looks with. So now I'm using the Skinny Felt liner. This eyeliner is fantastic because it's got such a small, precise point on the felt tip. So I'm just using the shape of the eyeliner pen to help me line my lash line, and because this pen is so small and precise, I can get really close to the base of my lashes and get a really nice sharp crisp line just by printing the edge of the brush along my lash line. And as you see, I'm doing it in little step-by-step stages. I'm just building it up gradually and working my way along, using the pen to help me get that shape. And then that really small tip on the pen is helping me to get that inner corner of my eye and get a nice precise sharp line there as well. So once I'm happy with the lash line, then I'm again using the shape of the pen to help me with the wing. What I'm going to do is follow my bottom lash line and imagine that that was continuing, and that will give me the angle for that wing. And I'm just using the side of the pen. I'm literally just printing on the start of that wing, and then again using the side of the pen to help me build it up. And once I'm happy with the wing, I can then connect it into the rest of the lash line. Hopefully this makes sense, a combination of me explaining it and what you're seeing on the screen. But really, the pen is doing so much of the work for you. You don't have to worry about being too precise. Even if you blink like I just did there at the wrong moment, the pen is doing so much of the work for you. And if you just gradually build it up, it makes the whole thing less daunting, rather than going in and trying to just swipe on the perfect line all in one go. So now I'm using the Lash Sport waterproof mascara. I'm going to use this with a disposable one, but you could definitely use just the one that comes with your mascara. Just make sure that you're following the packaging, which will tell you how long your mascara should be used for before you swap it for a new one. So I'm just sweeping this through my lashes. I find a combination of blinking through the mascara wand and slightly rolling the wand at the same time really helps you get into the bottom of your lashes, and it also helps push your lashes up. That's a technique that I always use. So I've applied one layer of mascara. I'm going to let that dry, and while that is drying, I'm going to use the Shimmer Waves in Coral. I'm going to take a small pencil brush. You could use the Body Shop eyeshadow blending brush instead for this. As you see, I'm just swiping it over just the very palest shade on that Shimmer Waves. It's a really good highlighting shade, and I'm applying it to the inner corner of my eyes. I'm starting to apply it to my brow bone here and then realizing that I'm using way too small of a brush, so swap it for a bigger fluffy brush here. That's better. I'm just sweeping it over my brow bone. I'm going to do that on both sides just to add a little bit of a highlight. And as I do that, I also start to blend over the eyeshadow that I've already applied, just to help smooth out any harsh lines that might be there. I'm going back in to add a bit more highlight to the inner corner of my eyes. If you wanted a stronger highlight here, you could use a damp brush, and that would really make that highlighter pop in the inner corners of your eyes. So now I'm going over the warmer shades in the Shimmer Waves with that same fluffy brush that I just used on my eyes. I'm going to use this just to build up the colour over the rest of my eyelids. So it's really the kind of middle of my eyelid that I'm concentrating on here, just to bring that colour up a little bit. And now I think I'm looking for something and I can't remember what it was. It was probably a brush. I could totally have edited this bit out, couldn't I? But I'm hunting for something. Ah, it was a cream colour. So I'm going to use this on my bottom lashes. I'm really concentrating on the outer corner. I'm not lining all the way along. I'm concentrating on the outer corner to help open up my eyes. And then I'm using that small brush again just to blend over that colour and work it into the bottom lash line. And now I'm going to apply some mascara to the bottom lashes. I've got another mascara one there, but this time I'm going to wipe the excess mascara off with a tissue. This is a really good tip for your bottom lashes. It really avoids the lashes looking too clumpy. You get a nice natural finish. I'm going to take a cotton bud. I'm just blending in that mascara and the cream eyeshadow along that lash line. It just gives a softer definition to the bottom lash line. So now I'm just adding a little bit of extra eyeshadow. If you've got hooded eyes like mine, what you'll find is that bringing that colour just further up and out towards the outer corner just works that little bit better. When you open your eyes and look straight ahead, you see more of the colour that way. With a hooded eye, the colour tends to just disappear as soon as you open your eyes. So that's generally a pretty good trick. So I've gone back to the shimmer waves. And this time I'm going to sweep a blusher brush over all of the colours in the shimmer waves. Looks like I'm hunting for the brush right now. Here we go. So I'm just going to sweep that over the apples of my cheeks. Smiling every now and again helps, just to find where the apples of your cheeks should be. I'm sweeping that colour over. I remember at the time feeling like I couldn't really see the colour that well, so you'll notice I go back in later on and I keep building that colour up. But now that I've got a bit of colour on my cheeks, I'm then going to do a bit of contouring on just under my cheekbones. So I've taken an angled blusher brush and I've swept it over a contour colour that I already had. And I'm slightly squeezing the brush to get a bit of a more defined line, almost printed on. I start with this and then I use the brush, I sort of fluff the brush back up and use it just to blend that line and smooth it in so it's not quite so printed on. It gets better blended in. A good way to do that is remove any excess colour from the brush, and then you can use the shape of the brush just to sweep over and blend it in without worrying about the fact that you're maybe applying even more colour. There we go. So now what I'm wanting to do is connect the blusher to the contour, sort of blend the two together. So I'm gradually building up a bit more colour. Then I'm going to take a highlighter shade from the shimmer waves. I'm going to use quite a large soft brush, and I'm just going over the highlight shade with the point of the brush, and I'm going to smooth that over the tops of my cheekbones and round onto my temples. I'm just squeezing that. It's quite a big brush. I'm just squeezing it so that I'm only picking up the highlighter shade and then sweeping it over the tops of my cheekbones. And I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush. And again, just picking up the highlighter shade. I'm using this smaller brush to do a more precise highlight on the bridge of my nose. Just sweeping back over the tops of my cheekbones because you can't have enough highlight on your cheekbones. Going a little bit over my temples. Basically any high points on the face. The Cupid's bow, the tip of your chin. And then I think to myself, it just needs a bit more colour on the cheeks. Here we go. That's a bit better. You can actually see it now. And then just to really help blend the blush to the highlight and the contour, I'm just sweeping back over with that soft fluffy brush, and it just helps to blend the two together. If you're looking for a contour colour to use yourself, the Coconut Bronze Matte Bronzing Powder from the Body Shop would be a great colour to try. So now I'm going to do the lips. I'm using this lipstick from the Body Shop in shade Japanese Blossom. I feel it's going to work really well with the eye colours that I've chosen. So first of all, I'm just going to blot off any excess lip balm that I had applied at the very beginning, just to make sure that my lips are soft but they're also dry. And then I'm going in with a lip pencil. This isn't from the Body Shop, but a very similar lip liner from the Body Shop would be the shade Coral Blush. And all I'm doing is I'm following the natural line of my lips. And then I'm going to fill in my lips after that. I'm not overdrawing my lips here. I'm literally just following the shape of my lips. The shape of my lip line. If you feel that your lips are a little on the thin side, you could definitely just ever so slightly overline. But by filling in your lip colour with the pencil, you're giving a base for the lipstick to cling to. It will make it much more longer lasting. And then all that I'm doing is just going over the top of this with the lipstick, just straight from the bullet. I'm using the shape of the lipstick to really help apply it. So I'm changing how I'm holding the lipstick depending what part of my lips I am going over. And then once you've done one layer of lipstick, you can blot that off. And then go back over again, doing pretty much the same thing. I tend to focus on the middle of my lips at this stage. Smoothing it in and then blotting that again. By layering it up in this way, it really does make it a lot longer lasting. I'm going to finish off with a spritz of the pink pepper and lychee hair and body mist. It smells absolutely gorgeous. You could finish off with a much more appropriate spray, which would be the makeup setting spray, which is enriched with aloe vera. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was useful for you. Thank you so much to Nikki Capp for asking me to do this. I really enjoyed it. I'll try and do some more videos for you. Thanks so much. Bye.